مستمعينا الاعزاء، الاخوه الاعلاميين، حضورنا الكريم، السلام عليكم ورحمه الله وبركاته. في البدايه اسمحوا لنا ان نرحب بكم جميعا في هذا المؤتمر الصحفي للاعلان عن افتتاح متحف نوبل في استضافه هي الاولى من نوعها في المنطقة وفي مدينة عربية بشكله ومفهومه ومضمونه الجديد الذي يحمل شعار جائزة نوبل أفكار تغير العالم. كما أشكر حضور الدكتور لاس كريستل رئيس مجلس إدارة متحف نوبل والمدير التنفيذي لمؤسسة نوبل. كما أشكر حضور أولف أميلين مدير متحف نوبل وجميع القائمين على هذا الصرح الإنساني العظيم.
السادة الحضور، بتوجيهات من صاحب السمو الشيخ محمد بن راشد آل مكتوم نائب رئيس الدولة رئيس مجلس الوزراء حاكم دبي رعاه الله، والذي عودنا على إطلاق أفكار ومبادرات خلاقة والتوجيه باستضافة أهم الفعاليات العالمية، وبرعاية كريمة من الشيخ أحمد بن محمد بن راشد آل مكتوم رئيس المؤسسة، تنطلق من هنا من دبي مدينة الإبداعات والمشاريع المميزة استضافة مؤسسة محمد بن راشد آل مكتوم لمتحف نوبل، تماشيا مع دور المؤسسة الأساسي في المساهمة ببناء مجتمع قائم على المعرفة والابتكار، وسعيا منها نحو رفد المجتمع المحلي والعربي بمبادرات تثري العقول وتحفز الهمم لدى أبناء هذه المنطقة. لا شك أن متحف نوبل سيجسد منصة تقرب عالمنا العربي من منابع الإبداع ومهارات الاكتشاف والتعرف على الإنجازات البشرية التي ساهمت في تغيير العالم وتحسين حياة الأفراد على مر العقود. سيشكل متحف نوبل بما يحتويه من معروضات ملهمة ونماذج لعقول أثرت البشرية باختراعاتها واكتشافاتها، سيساهم في تحفيز شبابنا على الابتكار والنظر للأمور بعين المبدع المكتشف، بعين المبدع المستكشف، وشحذ الطاقات لطرح الحلول والابتكار. الحضور الكريم، إن استضافة هذا الصرح المعرفي يأتي في إطار استراتيجية مؤسسة محمد بن راشد آل مكتوم والهادفة إلى تطوير كافة مسارات نشر ونقل المعرفة، تمهيدا لبناء مجتمعات عربية قادرة على إنتاج وتصدير المعرفة. إن متحف نوبل يقدم نموذجا رائعا للتأكيد على أهمية رصد وتوثيق الإنجازات والاكتشافات البشرية لتكون مسارا تنتقل خلاله المعرفة عبر الأجيال، ومركزا تستلهم منه العقول قيمة العلم والبحث في التغلب على تحديات الحاضر ورسم ملامح مستقبل تنعم فيه الإنسانية بالرخاء ورغد العيش. السيدات والسادة، أنصح وأدعو الجميع باستثمار فرصة قيام هذا الحدث الاستثنائي على أرض إمارة دبي، وكل ثقة أن زيارة المتحف ستترك لدى كل زائر أثرا عميقا، حيث سيلمس في كل ركن من أركانه قيمة العمل وبذل الجهد والتفكير خارج الصندوق وفضل تسخير العلم لخدمة الإنسان. سيتعرف على سيرة شخصيات وعقول مبدعة ليكونوا القدوة والنموذج لشبابنا، كما هو الحال في أديبنا العربي العالمي نجيب محفوظ، وعالمنا المصري أحمد زويل، والطبيب اللبناني بيتر مدور، وغيرهم من المبدعين العرب الذين تألقوا ضمن قائمة الحاصلين على جائزة نوبل. ومن خلال أجنحة المتحف سنقترب أكثر من مفهوم جائزة نوبل وأهدافها وأهم روادها على مدار العقود الماضية منذ عام 1901، كما سنتعرف على مجالات تفوق مبتكر هذه الجائزة ألفريد نوبل وإسهاماته في خدمة الإنسانية. وسيربطنا المتحف بالواقع من خلال تسليط الضوء على ما قدمته الجائزة من إسهامات واكتشافات في مجالات العلوم والآداب، وكيف ساهمت هذه الاكتشافات بتيسير حياتنا اليومية وما ستقدمه للمستقبل القادم. أيضا سيحظى الجميع ومن خلال ورش العمل المصاحبة للمتحف بفرصة للتعمق أكثر في مفهوم الإبداع واكتشاف لحظات ولادته في العقل البشري وأساليب ترسيخ هذا المفهوم ليصبح جزءا لا يتجزأ من ثقافتنا وهويتنا التي نقدمها للعالم ونتأثر ونؤثر من خلالها. في الختام أتوجه بالشكر العميق للقائمين على متحف نوبل، وأثمن جهودهم الكبيرة في التعاون مع مؤسسة محمد بن راشد آل مكتوم لتقديم استضافة ناجحة للمتحف للمرة الأولى في المنطقة العربية. وأدعو هنا الجميع لزيارة المتحف مع أطفالهم من الأجيال الواعدة الذين سيصبحون يوما ما ضمن قائمة مبدعي جائزة نوبل ممن يسهمون في رقي وتقدم مجتمعاتهم والعالم بأسره. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I'm very happy to see that so many of you have turned up here this morning. And of course, Olof Amelin and I, we are also very happy to be invited here and for the cooperation that we are now having with Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Foundation on this project. The Nobel Prize is what our exhibition circulates around. And the Nobel Prize is, as you are probably aware, one of the most well-known and perhaps respected prizes in the world. Most people know about the Nobel Prize or have heard about the Nobel Prize, but not so many have perhaps heard about the man behind the prize. Alfred Nobel, whom you can sit beside in the exhibition, where there is a little statue for the kids to climb on him. He was a Swedish citizen born in 1833 in Stockholm. And he's mostly known, I think, for inventing dynamite. But he invented a lot of other things, and he was an entrepreneur. He built a large multinational, one could say, enterprise involved in many different parts of the world. But he was more than that. I mean, he was very interested in the humanities. He wrote on philosophy. He wrote on the peace issue. He read a lot and was a friend of authors and so on. He was also someone who very much believed in the ideals of the Enlightenment. He believed that search for knowledge would make the world better. And he believed in fundamental human values, and this was behind his decision to set aside what was left after him for these prizes. He was someone who lived very much in his time, and this was an era, the late 19th century, with many similarities with our time, actually. It was a time with growing international enterprises, increasing trade, improvement in communications, etc. And in all this, he was actually involved himself. But it was also a time with strong social challenges, environmental challenges in the wake of the industrialization taking place at that time, and also with anti-intellectual and xenophobic tendencies and nationalistic endeavors to build up militaries, etc. So there are many similarities actually with our times and his time. And it was in his time that in the late part of the 19th century that the will was opened. And there he said that what remained of his fortune should be used to endow prizes to those who during the preceding year had conferred the greatest benefit to mankind. And then he pointed out the areas, physics, chemistry, medicine, literature, and peace, as the areas where there should be prizes. And he also pointed out the institutions that should deal with this. So these were different independent institutions. The Royal Swedish Academy of Science for the Science Prizes, the National Medical School in Sweden, Karolinska Institutet for medicine, the Swedish Academy for Literature, and for peace, actually the Norwegian Parliament, or a committee appointed by the Norwegian Parliament. Norway was at the time in a union with Sweden, I should perhaps mention. And he had this idea that it was not only be prizes in these different subjects, as I said, but he wanted them to be given to people who actually improved the world. That was his idea, to contribute to a better world. After the first prize was rewarded in 1901, there has been almost 900 prizes being rewarded, and today we have some between 175 and 200 living Nobel laureates. Clearly, given the fact that the world today has many similarities and challenges with what would the world look like in Nobel's time, his vision is just as important today as it was in those days. And this is really the background while we, the Nobel institutions, 20 years ago or so, started to build a museum, started the work on a museum in Oslo, a museum in Stockholm that we now have, and that is a museum which are part of this cooperation. And we also have media activities. We are very present on the web. We arrange conferences. We arranged a large conference in Japan just a few weeks ago, etc. So we do these kind of things to spread knowledge about Nobel and about the achievements of the laureates and about the laureates themselves. And in the end, we do this because we want to stimulate people to get involved, to themselves try to do what they can to contribute to a better world in the spirit of Alfred Nobel. With this brief introduction, I will give the floor to Olof Amelin, who is head of the Nobel Museum, and Olof will explain a little bit more, I think, about our activities here. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here, and we are very happy to bring our exhibition Ideas Changing the World to Dubai. And the collaboration with Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Foundation has been a fantastic project, and we hope that we will be able to collaborate a lot more in the future. Now, the exhibition we have brought to you is an exhibit where we try to focus on all these ideas that actually have changed our everyday life. It's quite interesting when I look around in this room and I see quite a lot of LED lights focused on us up here on the stage. And the most recent Nobel Prize in Physics was actually 3 Japanese researchers who had developed the blue LED light, which made it possible to make all kinds of LED lights, including the white light that you are now focusing on us. And all of those of you who are holding cameras and cell phones, remember that in those gadgets you have the microchip, you have the LCD device that catches the image, you have plastics, you have lots of technology that has been awarded the Nobel Prize over the years. So the Nobel Prize celebrates all these fantastic ideas that have solved some of the big challenges that humanity have been facing over the years. And we are facing lots of challenges also in the future. And I'm sure that there will be lots of fantastic discoveries and inventions that actually will help us and the humanity to move forward and solve all problems like climate change, treatment of different diseases, etc., etc. And that's really what we try to highlight in this exhibition. And we try to reach out to a young audience. We hope that lots of school children, university students will come and enjoy the exhibit that we brought. And we've trained a group of very talented teachers who will help out and do a fantastic job during the following weeks here in Dubai. And we hope that this will inspire people to get more interested in the sciences, to focus even more on education, and to help us to bring out the philosophy of Alfred Nobel, that the sciences, literature and peace are essential if we want to promote all those good activities that we want to see all over the world. Now, we have built this exhibition just beside Burj Khalifa. We very often say that the sky is the limit, and I think that Burj Khalifa is a very good example how clever engineering skills can create something that we couldn't even in our wildest imaginations believe could be possible a few years ago. But here you show that it was possible. So I think having the exhibition, Ideas Changing the World, next to Burj Khalifa is a very, very good venue for this exhibit. We have the tallest building in the world. We have the most prestigious award presented next to that building. So it is a pleasure to be here. I hope you will all enjoy the exhibition. Thank you.
الآن نفتح المجال للأسئلة من الأخوة الإعلاميين. تفضل. This is a question from the media.
Good morning. Hi, can you hear me? صباح الخير.
ما نسمعك.
Okay. Would you like me to ask in English or in Arabic? I mean, the question is, from these exhibitions, are we going to expect more interest with the Arab ideas to be involved with the Nobel Museum, or with the Nobel Prize for the next couple of years? Thank you.
Please.
Well, the whole Nobel, all Nobel activities are truly international. And Alfred Nobel, he makes a point that no consideration whatsoever should be given to nationality. If we manage to bring a bigger emphasis on the sciences, literature and peace to this part of the world, we are very happy to do so. We hope to inspire a young generation to pay more attention to all these really important issues that the Nobel Prize stands for. What that will mean in the future, that's something we can't answer.
Good morning. Is it the first time that Nobel Foundation is organizing this kind of an activity outside Sweden, or under the partnership of Nobel Foundation? Is it the first time that Nobel Foundation is organizing such an activity in Arabic world?
No, actually not. We did an exhibition called Cultures of Creativity back in 2007 in Abu Dhabi. And we actually brought an exhibition called Networks of Innovation to Dubai in 2008. And we also took part in a number of seminars and lectures in 2007 and 2008. And then we had some discussions with the Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Foundation. And we have, so to speak, we've known of each other ever since, and now we are very happy to be able to do something again. And we hope that this is the beginning of a long-term relationship between our organizations.
Yeah, this museum include how many winners, like, to highlight on, and as a journalist, are we going now on a tour or not?
The overall number of Nobel laureates is 889, including both individuals and organizations. Was that your question? Then I didn't really.
No, they want. Yes, we.
How many laureates you meet in the exhibition? I think all are actually present in the databases. Yes, my colleagues are nodding. And then there are, of course, more in-depth presentation of a very small amount of laureates. I don't know the exact number.
وعندنا جولة بعد للصحفيين في المتحف. Please.
السؤال طبعا بالعربي الحين. I'm going to ask in Arabic. So نتكلم عن ال populations أو الناس اللي يعيشون في دولة الإمارات. أعتقد أنه ممكن يطلع ناس نوابغ موجودين أو عايشين ويعيشون في دولة الإمارات للخروج بأفكار تحت العنوان اللي هو أفكار تغير العالم. هل بإمكان هؤلاء they are also will be having opportunities to apply for their idea to change the world, as you are having this museum for the first time in the Arab world, to have the inspires for all these populations who lives and raised in United Arab Emirates with their ideas to participate on that Nobel Prize. There will be any chance for them to be part of the Nobel Prize? هل هناك فرصة لهم لأن يكونوا جزءا من هذه الجائزة؟ شكرا.
بالنسبة للفائزين بجائزة نوبل بجميع فروعها، طبعا هناك أكاديميات متخصصة تفرز الأسماء وهي التي تعلن أسماء الفائزين عن طريق الجائزة. الأكاديمية السويدية للآداب أو الطبية أو كذا. العالم يعمل ويستمر في العمل ويتميز، وجائزة نوبل كونها يعني أكثر الجوائز تقديرا في العالم هي تقوم بتقديره على أعماله. فأولا يجب أن يعمل ويستمر في العمل لفترات طويلة، ثم يساعد الإنسانية بمخترعات باكتشافات، وبعد ذلك يجد نفسه مكرما في جائزة نوبل بطريقة أو بأخرى. جائزة نوبل تختار المميزين الذين أثروا الإنسانية باكتشافاتهم. فأي عالم، وهذا نحن الدعوة ندعوها لكل المواطنين ومن يعيش في هذه الدولة، أن يسعى بجهده للمعرفة في الأبحاث ويصل إلى مكتشفات تغير وجه العالم. عندنا شاب في شرطة دبي اسمه حمدان الغافري غير كل مفهوم الجينات الذكرية للواي في العالم، وأخذت مفهومه الجديد. رسالته بريطانيا والصين وأمريكا وكثير من الدول. عندنا شباب إن شاء الله في الأيام أو في السنوات القادمة قد يحصلون على جائزة نوبل، لكن يجب أن يعملوا بجد وعدم تضييع الأوقات. I just told her that Nobel Prize will not choose the people. The people will choose Nobel with their work and with their good initiatives. And this is what I say. You can mention how the Nobel Prize choose the winners.
Well, I was asked here to comment a little bit the process concern how the laureates are being chosen, and I mentioned before that Nobel himself, he pointed out the institutions that are responsible for this, and typically they would have a little group of, let's say, 5-6 people who would be very competent in the different areas. These would, in the sciences, normally be professors, obviously, and when you come to literature, for example, we would talk about people who had a background in literature or in the humanities. And these groups of individuals are changing a little bit over time, but people work there for 3, 5, 10 years or so, and then someone else comes in. And what they do is that they are happy to receive nominations from all over the world, and then they go through these nominations, and if we talk about the Peace Prize, for example, we talk about several hundred nominations every year, and I think they all, one way or another, tend to have a list of candidates, and of course the candidates that are closer to the top of the list, they are very thoroughly analyzed. So sometimes there is not the necessary competence within the institution or even within Sweden, within the country. So foreign experts are brought in to write small pieces, small essays on the candidates. This process starts in January, February every year. And when you come, let's say, to the summer, they probably have 5 candidates left or something around that. By September, it's only 1 or 2 left. So it's a very long process with a lot of discussions. And we believe that the fundamental reason why the Nobel Prize has the standing that it has today is the fact that we have this history of 110 years when this has been done in this thorough and professional way. And also I should underline with integrity, because in particular the Peace Prize, but also some of the other prizes, sometimes come in conflict with strong political forces. The last case, very visible case, was when the Norwegian Peace Committee 3 years ago chose a Chinese dissident, Li Xiaobo, who was in prison in China to get the prize. And the Chinese government was, of course, not so happy with that. So that happens now and then, that there is a conflict on the prize. But of course, in the long run, if you're going to be taken seriously, you have to be able to stand up. Governments come and go, but the Nobel Prize is still there.
في سؤال آخر؟ إذن الجولة شكرا لكم. تفضلوا. سؤال واحد.
Sorry, my name is Danusha. I'm a reporter with Khaleej Times. Mr. Ullah, we made a mention of teacher training for I'm assuming local teachers over here, and special focus on students. That's both university and school students. Could you please tell us a little bit more about what exactly you are planning to do here?
You want some more details about the program that we will launch for school children. Actually, the best thing we could do is that we put you together with 2 of my colleagues who have trained the teachers here locally. So Kalle and Åsa, if you raise your hands, and I think you could speak directly to my 2 colleagues, then you will get the most adequate information.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Shukran.
Thank you very much.